G'day Internet, Max right here, and one of our favorite guests to have here on the channel, Juan Villaverde. Juan, thanks so much for joining us.
Good to see you, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing really well, thank you. So we were just having fun talking off camera. Decided to hit record. Let's hear it. Obviously, big move from Bitcoin. It crossed the 30K mark in a convincing way. That 30,000 mark was obviously something the market cared a lot about. A lot of people have been talking about that for a long time. So what's the story? Is this the start of the bull run? Are we off to the races? Is it a fake out? Take us through it.
No, I think this is a real breakout. Now, I'll start by saying the model needs a weekly close about 31.5, right? So we're recording this on Thursday. Technically speaking, I don't know when the week officially closes. It's Friday or Saturday. But if Bitcoin were to crash back below 31.5, it would deny the breakout. I don't think it's going to happen. So this is a real breakout. Now, to me, all along, I was expecting 2023 to be a transition year. I called it initially, I was calling it a neutral year. Then I realized neutral for most people means prices don't move. But to me, 2019 was a neutral year and prices 5x'd. So then I called it a transition year where prices don't make a lot of progress. Well, let me unpack that a little bit because we were just discussing this off camera. What I mean by that is I'm sharing the screen here. A transition year is not really a transition year. It's basically a flat to neutral 320-day cycle, which is something that is very characteristic of crypto assets. So a flat to neutral year is, I mean, I'm just tracing out with these black lines. This is the 320-day cycle. It lasted at 306 days, so just 2 weeks shy of the average duration, the duration you would expect. And these cycles, these 320-day cycles, usually in bull markets, take Bitcoin up. Just think of 2019, 5x, 10x, even more than that, 20x. Altcoins, they can go up 50x during a 320-day cycle. So when I call 2023 a transition year, what I mean is, listen, prices are not going to move much in the next 320-day cycle. And sure enough, Bitcoin doubled in this 320-day cycle. That to me is pretty neutral. It actually did the same thing back in 2015, and the 320-day cycle was exactly neutral, meaning it started the cycle at, I think, 250, it ended at 300. But it doubled between those two lows. If there was a low in January 15, and the secondary low, there's always two lows to each cycle. The secondary low was in August, so it's a little shorter than usual. This one in 2023 is exactly what I expected. In 2015 it was a little shorter.
Welcome to the volatility of crypto, where when it doubles, it's considered a sideways year.
Correct. Well, it's considered sideways if prices retrace enough of that move to the upside that it takes prices down significantly. It's also, like you said, since this is crypto and normally on a bullish cycle, it goes up, let's call it 5x, doubling is not much. So I consider that somewhat neutral, which is why
I agree with you, by the way, completely. Yeah, I'm the same. I feel like it'll be sideways this year, and they're like, it doubled. Like, yeah, sideways.
Yeah, that's nothing. Like, my portfolio did not feel this. No. I'm still waiting for the bull market. No. So yeah, so this is why I call it, I prefer the term now, transition, because you cannot say, yes, it doubled, but is anybody calling this a bull market? I actually heard people calling it crypto winter still. Oh, we're in a bear market. I'm like, we're not in a bear market. Prices doubled. What are you talking about?
I would say it's closer to crypto winter than it is to crypto summer if it only doubles.
Absolutely. No, I agree. So this is why, to me, but that pattern, and this is the main takeaway for me this week, that pattern ended on September 11 when the 320-day cycle, this flattish transition 320-day cycle ended. And the reason it ended is the breakout that we saw this week. This breakout, and I want to turn this into an arrow. There we go. Nice little arrow. So this breakout ends the cycle. The reason it ends the cycle is because it confirms when Bitcoin breaks out, when it breaks above the previous high, this is the high that I'm highlighting here with this with this green line. So when it breaks above that, the cycle is complete. And is the goal we were discussing, this is the gold standard of confirmations. It's when prices cross the previous high, because that for sure completes the cycle. So there's no doubt that September 11 is a 320-day cycle low. I mean, I shouldn't be so, it's like a 90% chance that is the low. Anything can happen, sure. Maybe Bitcoin crashes back to 20. as
Yeah,
I was
World War III
expecting.
starts, Black Swan events, all the things.
Yeah, so we don't know, but if things proceed as normal, then yeah, September 11 is a 320-day cycle low. The 320-day cycle has completed. It was somewhat flattish, somewhat neutral, and now we're in a new 320-day cycle, and this one should be part of the next, should be considered from a cyclical perspective, part of the bull market. So technically speaking, the bull market started on September 11th. No, nobody noticed.
Okay.
Technically speaking. Okay.
Gotcha. I understand.
Okay. So what happens next? I think not much. On the short term, I will note that Bitcoin didn't, well, it actually did here, but I'm concerned that every time it's gone up since the Monday breakout, it actually sells off quite a bit. And it actually, and the daily close is in the lower half of the daily trading range. Pretty technical stuff. Basically, what that means is every time it goes up, people go out and sell it. And we're seeing it now on Thursday. It is basically down today. So am I expecting fireworks going forward? Well, I would love to see that, obviously, but I don't think so. I think we're very close to a shorter term cycle high, an 80-day cycle high that should take prices down, maybe, hopefully to 30K. Doesn't matter if it trades below 30K, as long as it holds above the 320-day cycle low at 25K. Basically, Bitcoin holds about 25K. This bullish scenario is intact. So if it crossed below 25K, then yes, we will be forced to reconsider. But for now, looks bullish, but I don't think it's ready to actually explode higher. And I still think that's coming in 2024. The catalyst for a sell-off or for prices to go down somewhat could be that there is no ETF approval. I kind of hate that the fact that every time Bitcoin goes up, it's all about the ETF. I'm like, yes, it is exciting. Yes, it's a big deal. But it seems to be all about the ETF. Now, what if that's not true? What if the ETF is not right around the corner? What if it's not imminent, as I've seen some people claim? Well, that should take prices down. But regardless, even if they do approve the ETF, maybe it's a sell the news type thing. Buy the rumor, sell the news. I'm expecting a cycle high by early November. And that cycle high is going to take prices down for most of November. And then it's going to take a while to get going again. And I'm expecting to see a significant bullish breakout still in January. So far, this is what I see. Although I will note that there's no indication that Bitcoin is pausing other than what I just said. Every time it tries to get above 35K, it just can't actually do it. People come out and sell it. Today on Thursday, people are selling it, and it's starting to remind me of what we saw in July when technically during most of July, it did trade above 30K. But yeah, every time it went to 31K, people would step in and sell it. And part of the reason it broke so strongly above 30K and 31.5 is because a bunch of shorts were there. There's a lot of shorts at the 31.5 level, and a lot of people selling calls at the 31.5 level. So there was a ton of leverage, short leverage, built up around this level. This is why it became so important. Beyond the fact that it's a round number, and yeah, Bitcoin seems to gravitate towards it. You see this dashed horizontal line here. This is the May 2021 low. This is the first time Bitcoin crashed to 30K from 65K, I think. I can show you if you want. I'm highlighting it here. And all these arrows are highlighting all the 30K tests between May 21 and July 21. So you can see that it was, for some reason, just like 70K turned out to be the high. Well, 30K seemed to be strong support. Even in 2022, prices spent most of May, again, all of May, just hovering around 30K. Hindsight 2020, we don't know what would have happened, but I will know that we could have conceivably seen Bitcoin hold 30K if it wasn't for the Luna crash. It was the Luna collapsing that actually took prices below 30K. So we needed, what I'm saying is, it was gravitating toward 30K again, and we needed a catalyst, a bearish catalyst, to take it through 30K. And then when it hit it for the first time this year during the banking crisis, bam, it acted as resistance. Then again in July, it acted as resistance. And this time in July, spent most of July just trying to break above, and it wouldn't. You and I did a video where I said, listen, technically it is trading above the April high, so you have to buy it. Well, that didn't work. So you can see that it was clearly struggling to cross that barrier. But now that it has, I don't think it's going back.
Okay. Good times. Are you paying much attention to any particular moving averages, or that's not really your bag?
Not really my bag. The model that I use does track a bunch of them. There's a few here that I can show you. Let's see. Well, this one, the blue line. But I just use this as a short-term indicator. I know that it probably crossed the 200 week or 200 day. I don't pay attention to any of that stuff. I use these two that you see on the screen, and these are cycle indicators. The blue line is telling me what I was just sharing with you, the fact that there's an 80-day cycle high overdue. This is because the blue line, when it makes a low, it's making a low here, like it's going down and goes flat, and then it goes up again. That tells me to expect an 80-day cycle top. An 80-day cycle top is what we saw in July and April. So these are significant. Prices tend to go down for several weeks, at least a month. So these are significant cycles that I keep track of. And then the red line, the one you see here, when prices cross below that red line, that tells the model, okay, yes, the high, because when prices cross a moving average to the downside, that means a swing high has been made, has been traced out. And when it crosses the red line, it tells the model, yes, that is likely an 80-day cycle top. And so within a few days, I can say, hey, guys, I think prices are going to drop for a month. And it's usually correct.
Gotcha.
Not always.
And I'm just seeing here, as I look back, just on what's you got on the screen here, when the price goes up, and we saw that, like the price moves up really aggressively, and then you have mostly a time-based correction, or even you could call it a bull flag even, over and over again, before the very, very sharp increase in prices. So we've just had that very, very sharp increase in prices. So you're kind of thinking maybe a little sideways to sideways down for the next foreseeable future.
Correct. And since you touched on that, I am kind of expecting, maybe I'm getting a little too much into the weeds, but notice that after the March 23 low and the banking crisis, we shot up for a few days, went sideways, then a couple of days going up again, and that's it. That's kind of what I'm expecting now. Same thing in July, it shot up for a few days, then it went sideways, and then it made a slightly new high, and that was it. Kind of what I'm expecting. I don't think prices are going to roll over right away. It's probably going to be, well, they go consolidate. Maybe we do get it close at 35,000 or 36,000, but maybe after a few weeks of consolidating, and then it rolls over. That's kind of what I'm expecting, because it's the way it's traded this year. It doesn't always work out this way, but even there was another 80-day cycle top in February, January. It's the same thing. It's like shoots up, consolidates, and then it goes down.
Gotcha. Awesome. Anything else you want to share with us, Juan?
Well, there's another reason I'm pretty bullish this time around, is the fact that altcoins are also breaking out. So I don't think this is all ETF related. I think it's also about debt crisis. Gold is doing phenomenal. Anybody who likes Bitcoin should like gold as well. Same model that I use for Bitcoin is flagged a phenomenal buy signal for gold. And gold, I believe, made a 9-year cycle low last year. And this is a bullish year. So this is a bullish 9-year cycle. I think it's going to shoot to the upside as well. So Bitcoin broke out after gold. That tells me something. Chinese are printing a bunch of money as well. They're printing like there's no tomorrow. They have a huge housing crisis in their hands. So it's not just the ETF. I was a little surprised to see the ferocity of the Bitcoin breakout. I wasn't totally surprised. It makes sense if you think about it. I think there's a lot of money leaving the bond market. Bonds keep crashing. Crypto is ripping. That is good. Although bonds are doing okay. Well, what is this? They're doing okay now.
Do you pay much attention to the Bitcoin dominance?
Yeah, it's like 50 plus, right? I don't pay much attention, actually.
You don't pay much attention. It's 54. This is the highest it's been in quite a while, since May 21.
Yeah, but that is so. Let me share something with you. So this is the ETH BTC ratio. There is a 4-year cycle to the ETH BTC ratio as well, and the 4-year low.
I would totally expect that.
Yeah, yeah, it's basically the altcoin cycle, and typically it's out of phase with the actual crypto cycle in dollars. So
Yes.
typically the way this works is Bitcoin begins to outperform during the bear market, then it begins to outperform in the early part of the bull market, and then the altcoins begin to outperform towards the tail end of the bull market. So nothing out of the ordinary here, but I did mention some altcoins, and yeah, I mean, we saw like this, for example, Chainlink. I was watching the Chainlink chart because I thought, well, Chainlink has been consolidating since May 22. It was trading in this range since May 22. And look, it broke out. Finally, after more than a year, after 18 months, it broke out. Solana did the same thing, bunch of others. A bunch of altcoins also like Cardano. Not particular fan of Cardano, but I will note that it was testing the bear market low. And it reminded me of 2019 because it's the same thing that happened in 2019. Back in 2019, I loaded up on altcoins because they were retesting the bear market low. And I thought, well, I mean, it's a pretty good time to get in. I didn't know that that was actually going to be the low. I think some altcoins actually broke the bear market low. But when you see them retrace all the way back to their bear market lows, which were made in December, like a year later, that is usually a sign, if they rally after that, that is usually a sign that the bull market is starting. So to me, it was just, it's not just Bitcoin, it's not just ETF. It's the fact that this time, unlike previous times, this year, the move was echoed by other altcoins. Not all of them, but some of them. Some pretty prominent ones, like Solana or Chainlink. The fact that Ether cannot break and cannot get a move on else gives me pause a little bit. It's like, well, Ether's not doing anything. But then again, it hasn't done anything this year, to be honest. It's been quite disappointing. But again, just to summarize, it wasn't just Bitcoin. It was also a bunch of altcoins. It was also gold. It's also, there's a meltdown in the bond market. So yeah, the ETF is kind of the catalyst, but there's some underlying, the Chinese are printing. So there's underlying bullishness being built into this market. And I think we're looking at the first cycle in the new bull market. Won't feel like a bull market for a few more months, but this is, technically speaking, the bull market to me, for the work that I do, officially started on September 11th.
Awesome. All right, Juan, thank you so much for checking in with us. I greatly appreciate it. We're going to catch up with you again real soon, I'm sure. Guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys later. Take care.